I always thought about the three elements of our faith, di ba? Sa akin, yun ang pinaka-importante or isa sa pinaka-importante sa kursilyo. The three elements or the tripod ng ating pananampalataya, di ba? So tonight, I'll cover and talk about PSA. So anyway, to have an orderly talk, ang gagawin ko, I'll cover it one by one. Hindi ko i-mix. I'll cover first, of course, piety. After that, I'll cover the study, and last, of course, is action. Okay, let's talk about piety. Katulad ng marami sa atin, I practice piety by praying and serving. Alam naman nating lahat, the highest form of prayer or worship is the Holy Mass. Diba? Yun ang pinaka-importante. That's why my wife and I try not to miss Sunday obligation. Maski kuminsan, maski nasa bakasyon, for instance, maski sa Pilipinas, we try to attend a Sunday Mass. Kuminsan nga, alam niyo naman sa Pilipinas, maski sa mall, meron ng simbahan eh. So, if we are in the mall, we go to the church doon sa mall. Additional prayer for us include visits sa Blessed Sacrament, praying the Rosary daily, and of course, daily evening prayer before going to sleep. As far as service in our church, I currently serve as Eucharistic minister, usher, and I help in the fundraising activities. Before, I was a member of church council and also member of the choir. Bago namang may kursilyo, I did most of these things also, but not with the same dedication and commitment that I am doing right now. Before we move on to study, I want to mention one other thing about piety. Siguro natatandaan nyo, rolyo number 5 is piety, right? Doon sa rolyo na yun, tinuruan tayo that when we pray, we should make it natural at saka simple lang. Wala na yung maraming palabok, right? This reminds me of the song by Carrie Underwood. Actually, she's one of my favorite singers, Carrie Underwood. The title of the song is Don't Forget to Remember Me. Again, the title of the song is Don't Forget to Remember Me. The song is about a young lady who decided to be on her own when she turned 18 years old. Ang problema, one night, she decided to pray. Bata pa ito, hindi pa marunong magdasal. Ang lyrics ng song, and I'll read it to you, the lyrics pertaining to the prayer, I want you to listen carefully because to me, this is an example of being natural and simple when we pray. Ito na yung lyrics ng kanta, ha? Particular to the prayer. Ito yung bata who just turned 18. Sabi niya, tonight, I find myself kneeling by the bed to pray. I have not done this a while, so I don't know what to say. But Lord, I feel so small sometimes in this big old place. Yes, I know there are more important things. But don't forget to remember me. Don't forget to remember me. Nakakabigay ng inspiration, if that's the right word. The reason I like this song is, here's a teenager basically saying, Lord, alam ko na mas maraming importanteng bagay siguro, pero huwag mo naman akong kalilimutan. Di ba? Napakasimple lang. Lord, huwag mo naman akong kalilimutan. Now let's go to study. Among the three areas, no, three elements, this is probably the one that I have improved a lot after Cursillo. Before, I have to be honest, I don't even read the Bible regularly. But now, in addition to reading the Bible on a regular basis, I like to attend Bible study, Bible seminars, read books, and watch religious movies. At this time, I'd like to share with you an interesting book that I read a year ago and a very thought-provoking movie that I watched recently. The book I'm talking about is What on Earth Am I Here For? What on Earth Am I Here For? Ang author nito is Dr. Rick Warren, founding pastor ng Saddleback Church. I think Saddleback Church is in Orange County. And the title of the movie that I recently watched is God is Not Dead. God is Not Dead. Let me tell you first about the book. Before I proceed discussing the book, I want you to close your eyes for a minute. Subukan lang nyo. Close your eyes for a minute and reflect on the question, what on earth am I here for? What on earth am I here for? Try to reflect on that for a minute. Okay, I'm sure you have come out on the reasons, but according to Dr. Warren, the author, there are 5 purposes why we are here on earth and why He created us. Again, there are 5 purposes why we are here on earth and why God created us. Yung 5 purposes na yun, it starts with worship. Ang gusto ng ating Panginoon is to worship Him or to love Him. Di ba ang greatest commandment, ano sabi niya? The greatest and the first commandment, you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind. So yun ang pinaka-importante sa ating Panginoon. First purpose kung bakit niya tayo kinrate or bakit niya tayo ginawa. He wants us to love Him. Second purpose is fellowship. Pag naman fellowship, ang gusto ng ating Panginoon is to be part of His family. Di ba ang second commandment, sabi niya, love your neighbor as yourself and love one another as I have loved you. Again, yun ang gusto ng ating Panginoon, to be part of His family. Ang third purpose why we got created is discipleship or to become like Him. We always say, what would Jesus do? Yun ang ating parating ginagamit as a basis. And remember the Bible verse, sinabi ni Lord, I am the vine and you are the branches. Ito, susunod na purpose, ministry, napaka-importante. One thing I'm very proud of too is, alam ko mga kursilista, maraming involvement na ministry. I'm sure yung mga kaibigan nyo, ganun din. But mostly, I notice sa mga kursilista, very good example is Sister Nida. Naku, napakaganda ng ginagawa ni Sister Nida Cuenca. Marami pang iba, yung mga ganong ministry, nakakatuwa. So, remember the verse regarding ministry. Whatever you do to the least of my brother, you do unto me. Yun. And then the last purpose is evangelization. Yun naman ang primary purpose talaga ng church is evangelization. We all know that. The primary purpose of the church is evangelization, or to tell others about Him. Tell the good news to all nations. Di ba nasa Bible naman yon? Now, the other thing I want to share with you is the movie na sinasabi ko sa inyo. I watched this movie actually years ago, but because of COVID-19, I get a chance to watch it again recently. Ang title nga ng movie is God is Not Dead. Anyone have watched that movie? God is Not Dead. Napakaganda ng movie na ito, but so I'll probably recommend that if you have time to watch it. Ang synopsis ng movie is about a philosophy professor who is atheist. Anyway, on the first day of his class, he already demanded that, or he already stated that there is no God, and demanded every student in the class to sign a statement that says there is no God. Biro mo yun? Sabihin mo sa estudyante mo, I want you to sign a statement saying that there is no God. Almost everyone agreed to sign the statement except for one student. Sabi ng student, Professor, I cannot do what you want. Then of course, sabi ng professor, told him that, okay, I want you to defend your antithesis or your commitment in front of the class. So of course, itong bata, he prepared for it. He prepared for it. Talagang ang dami niyang research. When the student presented his case, there are so many back and forth arguments. Yung ito, pinakamaganda dito sa movie na ito. Back and forth arguments between the students and the professor. Napakaganda, but hindi ko naman matandaan, but I noted several statements that the student made. Sinabi niyang ganon, if God is all good, and if God is so powerful, why is He allowing evil to exist? Again, think about that. If God is all good and God is so powerful, why is He allowing evil to exist? Alam ko, tayong kursilista, alam natin ang sagot yan eh. You may probably just don't remember. As a kursilista, natatandaan nyo, rolyo number 1. Tinuruan tayo that God gave us free will. God gave us free will. Napakaganda ng argument dito again. I mean, there are support on that free will na in-introduce doon sa movie. I want you to make sure to watch this movie. I think it's still available in YouTube. One other very important argument that I remember on this movie is, if God does not exist, then everything is permissible. Kung walang God, we can do almost anything. Wala tayong guide, di ba? This reminds me, of course, of the Ten Commandments. Ten Commandments. Regarding the same subject, I don't know if you have watched Bishop Robert Barron. Ako, every time, once in a while, I watch Robert Barron. Siya yung auxiliary bishop ng Santa Barbara. In one of his Sunday sermon, he covered this topic. The topic of the sermon is, why does God allow sufferings? I mean, basically the same question, right? Why does God allow sufferings? Alam niyo, sabi ni Bishop, ang sabi niya, according to him, the answer is that God said that my thoughts are not your thoughts. My ways are not your ways. Ano sinasabi ni Bishop? Basically, Bishop Barron was saying, we don't know the purpose of God. in our suffering. Hindi natin alam ano ang plano ng Diyos, right? So, we cannot question, God, bakit ako nagsasuffer? God lang ang nakakaalam kung bakit. We don't know why there is sufferings in our life. Siya lang ang nakakaalam. And because like, actually discovered ito sa Bible eh. Isaiah verse 55, 8 to 9. Nakalagay doon that my thoughts are not your thoughts, my ways are not your ways. Okay, malapit na tayong matapos. Action. Because of pandemic, my activities lately relating to action were very limited. Siguro kamukha rin ninyo, very limited ang action natin. But before that, but before pandemic, aside from being very active in our church various activities, including fundraising, I also helped and got involved in many religious functions, such as Simbang Gabi celebration, Rosary groups for Jesus and Mary Rosary Crusade, San Lorenzo Luis celebration, and also very energetic member of our Ultrea Center at Our Lady of the Valley. In addition, I think I mentioned this to our group reunion. My wife Ditas and I are helping in the food distribution for the needy at St. Elizabeth of Hungary in Banais. Nakakatuwang ministry to. Pinagbibigay ka ng pagkain doon sa mga nangangailangan. And in the past, I am very proud that I sponsored several candidates as part of action that joined our Porcilio movement. Finally, in regards to action, I'd like to leave you with quotation from Edmund Burke, an Irish philosopher. Alam ko maraming kursilista, medyo familiar na rito, but I will repeat it. The philosopher Edmund Burke said, "The only thing necessary for evil to triumph is for good men to do nothing." Napakaganda. The only thing necessary for evil to triumph is for good men to do nothing. Basically, ina-encourage tayo to do something. Otherwise, evil will triumph, right? And that, brothers and sisters, conclude my short reflection. Thank you.